unbelievable and it's terrible, but it's true.
What's up, Graffism fam? It's your boy, and we're back. Just thought I'd bump a little bit of GVS right now while we hang out at home. Check this out, if you haven't noticed already, I'm hanging out in 0.4.8. This is an update that is likely coming later this month. It's September 2025. This is a pre-release for us members in the beta team, and I just want to show you what's coming up. We're going to go through this together. There's some release notes right here, like there always is when we get an update here in Graffism VR, and we're going to go through them. This is the first time I'm seeing them, though I know what's supposed to be in there. You and I are going to play through some of that changed content right now together. You're going to see a change in things like scale, smoothing, location changes, some really cool stuff. Overall gameplay mechanic improvements, good stuff. And we're still in a beta build here. So, GVS, thank you, my main man. But we're going to get into it. One thing I'd like to know is, the devs have said already themselves that 0.4.8 kind of quote doesn't have a lot going on with it, but I happen to disagree. There are more things that have changed than will be released or will be mentioned in these release notes. And one of them is from our homie GVS. You may have mentioned, or you may have noticed rather, that there are some new sound elements. Not just in the environments, but in loading screens, logo transitions, and stuff like that. That's thanks to our main man, GVS. So, right now, we're going to get into our release notes for 0.4.8. Here in Graffism VR, I'm playing on a MetaQuest 3. What are you playing on? Let me know in the comments. Release notes, 0.5... Has somebody been blazing in my house? Do you see this smoke? We'll get to that later. Release notes, 0.4.8. New model in paint shop, Locomotive. Yeah, you heard that right. I said you were going to see some changes in things like scale. New model in paint shop, Locomotive. We're going to go paint that today. User interface, cap quick selection menu added. That's a huge improvement. And I'd love to mention that that's something that was brought up and told to us, the user, from day one. Again, we're still in beta here. We're lucky that we're playing this at all. But if you look at the roadmap on the Graffism VR website, it specifically depicts and describes a color picker that we're going to use today. I love that this dev group is staying on track and telling us what's coming and making it happen. That's huge. 4.7, we got the color picker UI changes, tablets to fisheye. You've seen all of this, okay? So today we're going to do this. We got the quick cap selector, we got the locomotive, and we also get an improved spray mechanism. I don't know if I would say that that's so much a tool as it is also a user interface change. I haven't tested it myself, but I know what it's about. So let's just get right into it. So to go to our new, it's not really a new spot. The locomotive is a new item. And where you're going to find it is right here in the paint shop. So if I select paint shop, I can select these three items that we know since day one: our truck, our container, and our canvas. You've seen me do word of the weeks on the containers. You've seen me do a cap test video on a box truck. And you've seen me do drip tests and things on canvases as well. If you haven't, go watch them. They're in my Graffism VR playlist here on YouTube. Today, we're going locomotive. And as soon as I looked at it right now, I knew this was coming. And I guess I should have prefaced and set myself up for success with some background history. I don't know really anything about this train. What I can tell you just from looking at it is it's powered by overhead cables. So it looks like a commuter train. I would imagine this is a Polish commuter train, just because I know something about the group that works on this game, or individuals that work on the group in this game. I know that other things are coming. I didn't know that this was going to be the first one. This might rub some people in an interesting way. What I'm about to say is an absolutely personal choice. I told you we're going to go paint this, and we are. I would probably, I don't know. Is it an engine? Is it a locomotive? If it is, I wouldn't paint it in real life. That's kind of a burn. You burn the yard by painting a engine. They have record of it from the night before. So this actually could be a really cool opportunity to paint something I would never paint in real life. It's definitely an opportunity to paint something I probably won't get to paint in real life. I've never been to Poland. I'm pretty sure this is a Polish train. Let's load in. Enough talking. Holy shnikes. You guys, it's the size of a train. Like comically so. I'm going to reference another YouTuber and member of the beta community by his chosen name alone. He made a cool video showing this kind of stuff too, running through a quick preview of 4.8. I'm going to link his video in the description below. That's the homie. Go support him. Check him out. He has some really cool viewpoints and a really awesome style. Go check his work out. He talked about, and I think the homie Arez talked about in the Discord as well, is most of us are only going to see a train. This is something that's going to pull into a platform, and then me and you get in on these ends. So we're going to see it from here, from right here, and up. This thing is truly massive. How cool is that? So another thing I'd like to note, what we could use in the tools here is a roll of blue painter's tape. And I mean it jokingly, but maybe it doesn't matter on passenger trains. I don't paint passenger trains. I never have. And this is below the platform. But typically when you paint trains, you want to block off any identifiers. Don't paint over, like, well, this would have been an important number. This is going to be an important number, likely. Here we are, repeated again, identifiers. We would want to paint over, or not paint over those. Helps to keep the job of the engineers and staff and crew that run the trains, helps them keep their job smooth, and is just respectful. But we're going to paint over them today, probably, because this train is not real. Okay, something else I want to show you. The other thing was the quick cap selector, wasn't it? We're going to learn this one together too. So I'm going to open a color. Let's just go white, okay? Because it's kind of a dark train. We're going to go back to our items menu. Go into cans. I'm going to grab a small can. I have gravity toggled off so that the can just floats there. That's something you can do in settings. Okay, so I can go to my caps menu. But I think if on my right hand, I push in on the joystick. I have to be holding the can. Did you see that? Okay, we're learning together. Thank you, guys. If I push it over here, nothing happens. But if I'm holding a can and I push in on the joystick and then push left or right, that's really awesome and intuitive once you know. Alone mentioned this too. Some of the caps look too similar. So we're going to have to get names probably or some sort of visual differentiation. But, and they get smaller as they go away. That's a nice touch. And they get, like, the highlighted one is bigger. I love how it just snaps on and then we click it again and have it. Yep. That's rad. Okay, that's well done. Okay, let's just do a quick hand style just to make the homies happy. But this is a big one. This is a Vortex cap. By NyLight. NyQuil. NyLight's a whole different thing. NyQuil. This is a real cap in real life, and I've never used it. Okay, I'm gonna just do this tag real quick. And I'm gonna see if anyone notices one of the improved UI changes here. Can you see it? Ah, we're painting over numbers. Sacrilege. Does anyone use this cap in real life? I know Arez has. Are you here in the comments, dude? This thing is crazy. I want to use it in real life. Alright, that's pretty cool. The improved UI characteristic is the smoothing on the actual stroke. So, let me demonstrate that really quickly. You know what? Let's get a ladder. See, right there. Let's go up the ladder. The ladder's been improved more than a few times, which I love. That's cool. That vortex cap is pretty cool. I wonder if it behaves this way in real life. I imagine I'd get more drips, just the volume. This is the low pressure can, right? Excuse me. Have you seen the video where I talk about the difference between the two cans? You should. Because it's going to behave differently on the other can, not just because of volume. So let's talk about the smoothing here. And what we're going to do is we're going to change a cap. Oh, we should be using the quick cap selector. Let's look, I think, let's get the thin cap. Oh, I got to get some muscle memory to learn that. Okay, so first I'm just going to draw a line. Now I'm going to draw it faster. So you see this choppiness here? This is infinitely better than it was. It used to be ... and this was actually a pretty common complaint. The thinner the line work gets, the more pronounced this becomes. And now I'm going to do one just comically fast. Let's see. Let's do it bigger. There's like an animation reload or something. Now I'm getting into stuff I don't know about, so tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. You almost can see it starting over. Maybe that's me changing the angle of the can and not really the mechanic. You see a little bit of dotting, but this is so much better. And I'm just going to mention this really quickly. This game, Graffism VR, this experience is now on wishlist for Steam. And I've seen some of the beta testers running it in Steam. The gameplay is identical. I don't have a PC to do that. I'm going to stick with my MetaQuest 3. So if that's you, if you're a meta player, definitely stick with me. Subscribe and comment that in the comments below so I know how to let you know about the information. But for Steam players, the resolution is going to go up with your standalone machine for sure. This is about as bad as it's going to be, which is fantastic. Because this is so usable. This looks so much smoother than it did before. This is an awesome improvement. So right there, that's our 3 different things, right, that we got in 4.8, or we're getting in 4.8. The Locomotive, which is insane. The quick cap selector, again, on my dominant hand, presumably my dominant hand. I'm right-handed. Left-handed players, show yourselves in the comments below. Clicking on my dominant hand, in my case my right hand joystick, pressing it in, brings up this graphic, this animation. When I toggle that joystick left and right, I cycle through the caps, and when I press it in again, I select that cap. That is so smooth for the needle cap. I love the needle cap. I love the needle cap. You can still see it a little bit. It's all good. Cool. Okay, and the third thing was the smoothing. Awesome. So, what do you guys want to do next? Let's walk around the Locomotive And let's do a quick, like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 color straight letter piece. I can't do quotations. Mine aren't complicated enough to be pieces in my mind. Let's do that in a more jammy style. Ready? Let's go. All right, gang, we are here on the other side of the Locomotive here in the paint shop in Graffism VR, and I'm going to try and do some straight letter 4 or 5 color right across this middle part in between these grates. But before I do that, I actually want to show you something. I don't know if you know this or not. On my dominant hand, this is my right hand, so this will be the B button on my right hand. If I tap this button in just a standing position, I crouch. If I tap it again, I stand up. A new integration is if I long press and then let go, I stand taller. I couldn't tell you exactly how tall, a foot or I'm thinking maybe closer to 2 feet. And then if I tap it again, I crouch. Tap it again, I go to normal standing height, long press and let go, I go to taller height. Essentially, I'm cycling through these 3 choices. Just wanted to let you know. Does it work on the ladder? I'm not sure, I haven't tried yet, but we can find out. I'm really curious, do I even need the ladder? So here I am at regular standing height. I'm going to long press my B button, let go. I might not even need the ladder. Can I walk up the ladder? I can. The more you know, right? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Okay. That's awesome. I'm just above what would be platform height. Wow, look at the texture on this. Good job, Rafal. Wonder how much cooler and nicer that might be in the Steam space. In any case, let's get to painting. So I got to push my B button again. I got to crouch now. I got to go to regular height. Pressing it again. I got to, whoop, grab my can. All right. This is the Lightning Cap by, what is it called? NyQuil. It's a real cap. Never used it in real life. But I use it to build some decent, easy straight letters. I made a video about how to build letters. It's in my Graffism VR playlist here on my channel. The long press B, let go and stand up. Cool beans. All right, I'm going to try and do a straight letter right here. Should it be in white, though? Let's do... Okay, this is a city train. I'm pretty sure this is a commuter train. Somebody drop me a link to a Wikipedia about this locomotive in the comments, please. So it would be a city thing, okay? I have city trains. I have above ground trains in my city. I happen to live by a beach. This doesn't strike me as something that would come from by a beach. I don't know. The windows are small. Maybe there's, again, maybe Poland, so winter, maybe, you know? So let's bring the beach to this place. Actually, that blue's fine. Let's give it some beachy vibes. All right, I'm standing tall. Let's just do a simple straight using this particular flat cap. And I have to come back and kind of change the shape of that so that it matches. But man, being able to just build letters with a cap like that is really nice. Do you guys use techniques like this to build letters? Gotta make this one a little bit. That's better. That line weight is a little better. Cool, cool, cool. Continuing on. And you see I'm just using this striping in the side paneling of the train. Undo. A to undo. Wow, cool. You see the gloss? That's like the paint drying. It's the effect that stayed when I did the undo. Is it a bug? I don't know. There it is again. Try and match the R there in our roundness. was a little more like that. It's a little bit too big. Whatever. Just try and match a little bit while I have the opportunity. This is actually probably a better demonstration than I even did, of this technique I mean, than I did in the actual letter building video. I realized I was doing something along these lines then, and this is sort of me thinking in the mindset that I presented in that video. And putting it to use. Let's give it a little bit more. Yeah. I don't like that so much. You see how I'm even turning my hand to complement the style of the tip to help it build a consistent shape? And I'm doing it in one motion so that I can step back and then I can push my A button on my right hand, my dominant hand, and undo it and try something different. Should be taller. Something that this technique lends itself to. Let's make it more like the E. Should it take 15 times to make a top of a T? No. But it did. Let's just leave it. One of those like that. You already know the deal. One of those like that. Look, and that's pretty much our whole fill even. Okay. So now I'm going to go back. Oh, wait. I got to practice using the quick cap selector. Is that my fat? I think that's my fat. Yeah. I need the name, I guess. Because in my mind, a New York thin looks just like that. But I don't think we even have that in here. We don't have that in this game. That was my shiz back in the day. A New York fat and a New York thin. Maybe like a needle cap on a pocket can. Loved all that combo. Just kind of cleaning up edges, making shapes more prominent how I might want them. Kind of like that step right there. We're going to make this a little bit more like that. Nice. This should be much fatter to match. But that's kind of, it's a little long that way too. Whatever. And I was like, yeah, whatever. You guys know that song? Alright. Moving along here. Let's use a darker color. We can still use... quick cap selector. Let's try it. That's my thin. Thin might just make easier work of this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put waves. And we're just doing a simple cartoon style here. Like a stripe down the middle. See that? I'm just using that middle line. This is my mark there. All right, and now I am going to go back to my fat because I'm going to fill the bottom of the letter with this darker color. See how thin you can go with that fat? Got our wave type of split here in the middle. What we can do, let's go into our quick cap selector, is just clean that up a little bit. And you'll see what I mean here. This is not sharp, so we can just come back. And I'm using the thin tip here to add paint. An alternative way that you could do this is you could come back with the lighter color and remove paint, and you could chop at this blue line here, this darker blue, to make that sharper. You want to see? All right, that's the blue that we use, thank goodness. So watch this. If I come back here and I can just cut into it and make it even sharper if that's something I want to do. Cutting back. Can do this on letter fills. I've demonstrated this on word of the week fills. See how sharp we can get? Looks a lot better, doesn't it? So we're going to just keep that technique going down the line. And we're just going to clean this up while we're here. Things like this are best to do now, because you have a general idea of where this outline is going to go, where the shadow is going to end up, but once things start overlapping, it gets harder and harder to go back without affecting that. Like if I'm spraying this light blue and I have a black outline right here, there might get dust, the overspray from that paint. Then I'll have to come back and make that black line darker again. It doesn't happen here in Graffism VR, but it does happen in real life. So these are techniques that I still do practice in game. Okay, much cleaner. All right, so what we're going to do now is do the background. And I think what we're going to do is just go opposite the color wheel. This one, I want something a little more vibrant than that. I do happen to have an opposite color wheel right there. Is that more vibrant? I think so. So I'm going to replace it right there. If I grab my color using my trigger, and then there's my color. I even like that a little bit more to the yellow. I push plus, highlights all the boxes. I select the box I want to replace it. I want to put that color in that box. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to come back here, quick cap selector. We're going to go to, you know what, let's use the vortex. It's a giant cap, but it will go thin enough. We're doing the most background layer here, and we're going to use a complementary color orange. What I'd like to do is, I think, fill in this space, push outwards towards the vents on either side. I did a pretty all right job of making things proportional here using this grid style method. And I want to make a splat for a background. It makes sense because we're doing water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the outermost edge. I know it doesn't have to go right up to the edge, right? Because there's another line that's going to go in there, the outline of these letters. And that's why I'm doing this first, because this is supposed to be in the back, and we want all the rest of it to go on top. So here's what we're going to do. I want it to be bigger than these shapes. I know that. So I'm going to just fill in the between these shapes part. Okay, and then I'm going to go and make it like a splat. That looks kind of splatty. Then I can do a thing like that. There we go. Now it looks like a splat, doesn't it? And then we just come back and we fill this in. This is why I wanted to use this particular cap. One, it makes quick work of filling in the background. Two, it's got a very round line weight and style to it. So it adds to that effect, right? So we're just going to go around. Am I as tall as I can be? Long press and let go. Oh boy, I was. Gosh, that just goes to show you how tall that makes you. Here's crouch. Here's regular stand. Long press B and let go. Extendo. Extendo stand. Extando. You guys. Put in the comments below if your official vote as of this moment moving forward is the tall mode being called extando. Gosh. I'm great sometimes. Extando. I don't actually want to get that close. I don't want to lose too much of the letter. I still want to get there with the outline. And I was thinking this, did you notice how I tried to go to the bottom all the way down? I think I just cut that off right there on accident with the orange, so we can go back and do that. But you want to go all the way to the bottom. So I knew I was going to get there with the outline, or I'm sorry, the background. But you want to go all the way to the bottom. Unless you're doing like a floater, it depends on your spot, depends on the style you're doing. But on a train, you want to go to the bottom. If you can, you want to go all the way to the bottom of the car. In this case, what I've done is I've gone to where the platform line is. And again, I told you I've never painted a passenger train in life. So maybe I'm going about this a little bit of a wrong way. You'll let me know in the comments below, won't you? right, now let's do the highlights. Just going to take our OG New York fat cap, color white. I'd like a rounder line that comes to a point. Did a nice bold, thick outline here, and I want things to stay consistent. Should look nice. So let's extendo and start there. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a rounded triangle. So we're going to start by making the bottom line. Then we're going to make the line that goes up, and then we're going to connect the two like that. Yes, this is the New York fat cap making this thin of lines. But then you can back out a little bit and fill in some of the spaces. See what we're going for here? We'll probably come back and cut it up with the blue in the end. What's really cool is this splatter here. It's a fun detail. Let's make our L shape and then bring them together, right? We're going to come back and clean it up, so it should be just fine. We're going to make a line here. Comes to a point. Make a line here. Remembering that we're going to come back and cut this up. Okay, now we have our fun highlight. Everything comes to a point. It still conveys motion. Things are where they belong. I did these like bottom caps here on the squared parts of the letter. I know that technically the highlight is on different sides, but I like the way it looks. We have that detail in our shadows. Now the last thing I think I want to do is a second outline. And this is another thing I'm going to pay homage to the homie Alone. In his recent piece on the train, I believe his first piece on the train also, was a few color straight letter. And he did a sort of floating second outline. I've done something like this before, but he did them at the points and kind of really sharpened them as they went in. So I tried to keep the actual shadow and letter form outline nice and tight and consistent thickness. Let's see how this looks. This looks pretty good, guys. What do you think? Had to throw up the homie alone. Took a lot of inspiration for this video and this piece from Dude. We'll do a couple of touch-ups, but I think we're about done here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for staying till the end of this long-form content piece right here. We went over a few new awesome things, including UI, tools changes, and other stuff. And then we incorporated some of those into a freestyle straight letter piece on the brand new Locomotive. Thanks again, gang. Until next time.